Microsoft and Xbox have struggled a bit in terms of sales for their consoles this generation. I don't really know how many sales they have, but it's probably a good guesstimate, somewhere between 25 and 30 million sold. Obviously, bringing up the rear behind PlayStation 5. But again, Microsoft did take some weird bets going on into this generation. I think one of those bets was obviously that potentially we could see a situation where the xCloud could take off and be like this big deal. The problem with xCloud is, to make it better for people, you had to use actual Xbox Series X consoles, which meant you were taking stock away from the actual people that could get them. And this was at a point in time when there was a pandemic going on, and so people were looking to actually buy games. Like the timing was right for Microsoft to go all in on the console, and unfortunately they kind of chose poorly. And they did admit, however, in court that they kind of rethink the strategy or whatever, and that's kind of how they're at where they're at right now, which is basically they're kind of reinvesting in the console. People see the console as something of a thing that can do extremely well. Obviously Microsoft needs to keep content coming out. They got to keep the games and exclusives coming at a steady pace. They've released some pretty good ones this year with stuff like Hi-Fi Rush, clearly with Starfield, Forza Motorsport, really good games. But it really kind of comes down to their ability to continue to release a plethora of games and keep that kind of ball rolling. And this article came up, and this really kind of got me thinking as well. This is a really good opportunity. We know GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6 was announced, and honestly, the Series S could possibly be an unlikely hero. And this comes from Windows Central and Jez Gordon. Obviously, Rockstar Games treated everybody to in-game footage of Grand Theft Auto 6. Set in Vice City, it looks to raise the bar for open-world realism. Complete with cutting-edge visuals wrapped in a gritty satire the legendary studio is known for, there's some caveats. GTA 6 is going to launch in 2025. Not only that, it's only going to be console launch exclusive to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, with no Windows PC version even mentioned. Grand Theft Auto launches have always been a moment in gaming history, with GTA 5 one of the most successful of all time, with billions of dollars in revenue generated and influence spanning decades. Its console exclusivity will be a boom for the PlayStation 5, but perhaps potentially so for the Xbox Series X and S if Microsoft can play their cards right. Here's why it's a generational opportunity for Xbox. There's been plenty of commentary about the Series X and S hardware sales over the past year. PlayStation 5 has clearly surged ahead, often with triple-digit year-over-year in some territories. While Microsoft has seen some declines year-over-year by comparison, that's not a universe that exists that declining sales is a good thing, but it might not necessarily be as terrible for Xbox as it's often made out to be. This generation is decidedly weird compared to previous ones, and a large part of that is that digital backwards compatibility. We know that video game consoles have wafer-thin hardware sales margins by themselves, and the business model revolves around selling software and services. Additionally, console owners are now tied up digitally to specific ecosystems, more now though so than ever really. Few people want to switch from an iPhone to an Android or vice versa, and potentially lose access to digital content they've purchased on Google Play or iTunes respectively. The same is true for Xbox and PlayStation and other similar formats. This is why Xbox hardware sales might not necessarily be as dire as many make out. CEO Satya Nadella discussed during Microsoft's last quarterly earnings reports how Xbox console engagement continues to increase, even though Xbox Series X and S hardware aren't even outpacing Xbox One. How is it possible? The truth that nobody really wants to admit is you can still consider Xbox One to be part of this generation. The Series X and S and Xbox One S and X all share an operating system and primary feature set. All those big service games enjoyed by the casual audience are still present and fully updated. Fortnite on Xbox One is still updated. Call of Duty games still released on Xbox One. Minecraft is still updated on Xbox One. Roblox, Overwatch 2, FIFA, Apex Legends, GTA Online itself, and various other service games are still heavily maintained on the previous console generations. We don't have access to Steam-style surveys for Xbox consoles install base, but given Nadella's previous comments, it's fair to assume that millions of active players paying Xbox users are still on Xbox One. For Microsoft, it might be more economical given the wafer-thin hardware margins and stock limitations for casual players to stick around on Xbox One for their microtransactions while more spendy enthusiasts upgrade. And of course, the same is undoubtedly true for Sony and the PS4. Of course, it's probably arguable that Sony has given its user base more reasons to upgrade than Microsoft. For first-party output hasn't been set the world on fire yet. That's where GTA comes in. Grand Theft Auto is a cultural phenomenon. The trailer already has over 100 million views, and people kind of want to check it out. Millions of casual players who are happy to stick to Call of Duty or FIFA on PS4 or Xbox One will be considering, possibly for the first time, to upgrade to quote-unquote current-gen systems. Millions of youngsters who defy the game's doubtless 18-plus rating, as millions of us obviously did as when we were kids, are going to be thinking about getting it as well. So FOMO, which is the fear of missing out, is increasing at the fore of the industry as discussion in recent years, though it's nothing new. Clearly, the easiest point of input and point of entry would be the Xbox Series S. Delivers on price. Look, you might go, oh, well, the game is going to be 30 frames, blah, blah, blah. That game's going to be 30 frames on PS5, Xbox Series X, as well. Like, just what they're doing. I mean, I don't see how they can push that to really not be that way. So, we'll see what happens. But, again, for me personally, I think that it really makes sense for Microsoft to really push this. If they could get marketing rights, great. I don't really foresee them doing that. Microsoft has a lot going for themselves, but like this article is talking about, and it was kind of what I was thinking about too, when you have a situation where, people are going to be looking to upgrade, for the first time in a long time, it's realistically one of those things that's going to continue to kind of play for people, right? Like if you're stuck on an Xbox One, you're more of a casual player, but you maybe want to play, a better version of Fortnite or Call of Duty or what have you, or GTA. Yeah, I mean, considering you can pick up, some of these games, systems you can pick up. I've seen them as cheap as $199. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, let's just be real. PS5, Xbox Series X, for the most part, are $500 plus tax. Any given day you can pick up a Series S for $250, $200. So why wouldn't you if you could actually do that? I think it makes a lot of sense. Microsoft really can play their cards right and kind of nail something, and do well for a change in what they're trying to accomplish, at least as far as I'm concerned. And I honestly hope that they do that, because things are starting to very much look up for Microsoft. And I think it really just kind of comes down to, are they going to continue to kind of play their cards right? That's, I think, really where they have to do things right. They have to really play their cards right and make sure that, everything is kind of working in the proper way for them, and again, it's going to take time, but I'm excited to see that happen. Let me know what you guys think, though. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.